Imagine the English Premier League as a grand stage where every transfer window is a high-stakes drama, but every now and then, a story unfolds that threatens to rewrite the very rules of the game. Right now, all eyes are on the escalating confrontation between Tottenham Hotspur and Nottingham Forest over the future of Morgan Gibbs-White, a saga so intense it could set precedents for decades to come. This is not just a tale of a gifted midfielder switching clubs. It is a collision of ambition, legal intrigue, and the raw economics driving modern football. What is truly at risk as Tottenham relentlessly chase Gibbs-White? And could this battle spark reforms that ripple throughout English football's future? To understand why this transfer is so seismic, let's rewind and dissect the forces at play. The English Premier League is recognized globally, not just for its on-pitch spectacle, but for the off-pitch drama that often rivals the action on the grass. Transfers are no longer simple negotiations. They are chess matches, played in boardrooms, legal offices, and the corridors of power. The rivalry between Tottenham Hotspur and Nottingham Forest over Morgan Gibbs-White has become a microcosm of this new era. Nottingham Forest, having claimed a hard-fought Europa League place by finishing 7th last season, have enjoyed a renaissance that few predicted. Their return to European competition has delighted fans and injected fresh energy into the club. Yet beneath the surface, financial storm clouds are gathering. In just the past year, Forest's wage bill skyrocketed by more than 45%, a staggering increase that places them on a collision course with financial fair play regulations. As football finance expert Kieran Maguire explains, financial fair play rules are now the invisible hand shaping every major transfer in the Premier League. Clubs ignore these constraints at their peril. On the other side of this unfolding drama stands Tottenham Hotspur, a club that has, over the past decade, transformed itself from perennially hopeful to genuine European contender. Their state-of-the-art stadium, now the largest in London with a capacity of 62,850 seats, is a symbol of their modern ambitions. The venue alone generates matchday revenues that are the envy of their rivals, enabling ambitious transfer plans. Add to that their recent appointment of Thomas Frank, a manager renowned for his tactical ingenuity and ability to develop emerging talent, and you have a club poised for a new era of dominance. Tottenham's net spend over the past 5 years is the third highest in the Premier League, trailing only Arsenal and Manchester United. This statistic is more than just a number. It reflects a club willing to invest heavily in their vision of success. They are desperate to return to the summit of English football, to challenge fiercely for both domestic and European honors. For Tottenham, every signing is a statement, and none more so than their pursuit of Morgan Gibbs-White. Who is Morgan Gibbs-White, and why is he at the center of this maelstrom? Gibbs-White is not just another promising English midfielder. He is the heartbeat of Nottingham Forest's recent resurgence, a player who combines versatility, creativity, and a relentless work ethic. Crowned Nottingham Forest's Player of the Season for 2024, Gibbs-White delivered 7 goals and 8 assists in the Premier League alone. His performances have seen his market value climb to an estimated €40 million, according to Transfermarkt, as of July 2025. Pundits like Gary Neville have praised him as a player who could be the missing piece for a side with Champions League ambitions. But the current saga is not just about numbers or talent on the pitch. When Tottenham triggered the £60 million release clause in Gibbs-White's contract, chaos ensued. Nottingham Forest felt blindsided, believing confidentiality had been breached. The club quickly accused Tottenham of making an illegal approach, a practice widely known as tapping up. This accusation is not thrown around lightly in English football. It cuts to the heart of club relationships and sporting integrity. Explosive letters flew between Nottingham and North London. Forest's legal team wasted no time, escalating the matter to both Tottenham and the Premier League. Attention spilled out into the media, with speculation swirling about potential sanctions. The Premier League now faces mounting pressure to investigate and, if necessary, enforce its own rules. Football's unwritten codes, long honored by clubs, were shattered in an instant, leaving both sides in uncharted territory. As the legal battle rages, Tottenham's confidence seems undiminished. Alan Shearer, the Premier League's all-time top scorer and now an influential pundit, remarked, "Tottenham's aggressive pursuit of Gibbs-White is a signal they intend to challenge for major honors, and they will not be deterred by off-field distractions." The North London club has already proven its spending power this window, securing Mohamed Kudus from West Ham for £55 million, as well as Mathis Telephone and Kevin Danso on permanent deals. Gibbs-White is next on their list, and the message is clear. Tottenham are building a squad to compete at the very highest level. Nottingham Forest, for their part, are not standing still. Reports from The Telegraph link them with a move for Aston Villa's Jacob Ramsey, a dynamic midfielder with an estimated value of £42 million. Forest are said to have tabled a £30 million bid, significantly below Villa's valuation, but indicative of a club preparing for life beyond Gibbs-White. Ramsey's youth and versatility make him a logical successor. His contract at Villa Park runs until 2027. But Forest's interest is a clear sign. Contingency plans are already in motion. The stakes for both clubs could hardly be higher. If Tottenham are found guilty of tapping up, the consequences could be historic. Football finance expert David Ornstein warns that proven violations could result in a transfer ban or even a deduction of points, a punishment rarely seen at this level. Imagine Tottenham, third in net spend over 5 years, suddenly unable to buy players for an entire transfer window. Such a scenario would force Thomas Frank to rely on his existing squad, a true test of the adaptability he honed during his impressive tenure at Brentford. For Nottingham Forest, the risks are equally daunting. Their ballooning wage bill and precarious financial fair play position mean that losing Gibbs-White could be just the beginning. Forced sales of additional key players could unravel the squad's stability and jeopardize their Europa League campaign. Sky Sports analyst Jamie Carragher has put it bluntly: Forest's financial state is forcing their hand they have to offload talent or risk even harsher sanctions from the league. But the implications extend far beyond the two clubs. This saga could redefine how the Premier League handles allegations of tapping up, confidentiality breaches, and the activation of release clauses. Traditionally, release clauses have been seen as a straightforward mechanism. Meet the number, and the player is yours. But the current dispute suggests that the reality is far more complicated. Clubs may soon face stricter rules on how and when they can contact players, adding layers of complexity to already intricate negotiations. For fans, these behind-the-scenes battles are a reminder that football is about more than what happens from kickoff to final whistle. Boardroom decisions, legal strategies, and regulatory compliance can determine a club's fate as much as any goal or tackle. Understanding the nuances of financial fair play, release clauses, and the strict rules around player approaches gives supporters a deeper perspective on why clubs sometimes make surprising moves or let prized assets depart. Let's pause for a moment and consider the broader context. The Premier League is no stranger to transfer controversies. In the past, clubs like Chelsea and Manchester City have faced investigations over breaches of financial fair play. In 2019, Chelsea were hit with a 2-window transfer ban for violations related to signing minors, a penalty that forced them to rely on their academy products and young talents. The result? A season that saw the emergence of future stars like Mason Mount and Tammy Abraham, but also a reminder of how quickly fortunes can change off the pitch. Similarly, the so-called tapping up scandals have ensnared other clubs. In 2017, Liverpool were accused of making an illegal approach for Southampton defender Virgil van Dijk, resulting in a public apology and a temporary cooling of negotiations. The fallout from these incidents has led the Premier League to refine its regulations and increase scrutiny on transfer dealings. Yet the Gibbs-White saga feels different, more combustible, more consequential. The involvement of legal teams, the threat of points deductions, and the stakes of European qualification elevate this beyond a typical transfer dispute. If the Premier League decides to make an example of Tottenham, the consequences could reverberate across the league. For clubs like Arsenal, Manchester United, and Chelsea, each with their own ambitious rebuilds, this case could serve as a warning: bend the rules and face the full force of regulatory backlash. Looking ahead, several scenarios could unfold. If Tottenham are cleared of wrongdoing, they will likely succeed in signing Gibbs-White, adding another young, versatile star to Thomas Frank's evolving squad. Their powerful financial position, bolstered by record matchday revenue from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, means they can weather regulatory storms and continue their strategic pursuit of top-tier talent. Expert Gabriele Marcotti notes, Thomas Frank's transfer strategy is all about targeting young, adaptable players, exactly the profile Gibbs-White offers. If, however, Tottenham are found guilty, the repercussions could be severe. A transfer ban would force the club to rethink its recruitment strategy, relying on internal development and clever use of existing resources. Thomas Frank's reputation as a manager who thrives under constraints would be put to the ultimate test. The impact on Tottenham's long-term ambitions, both on and off the pitch, would be significant. For Nottingham Forest, the outcome is no less critical. Should they lose Gibbs-White, the challenge becomes how to reinvest the transfer windfall wisely. Clubs like Leicester City and Southampton have demonstrated the dangers and opportunities of selling star players under financial pressure. Leicester's sale of Riyad Mahrez to Manchester City in 2018, for example, funded a broader squad rebuild that eventually led to an FA Cup triumph. But for every success story, there are cautionary tales. Clubs that failed to replace departing stars and slipped down the league. Forest's pursuit of Jacob Ramsey suggests a willingness to embrace the so-called Moneyball approach, identifying undervalued young talent, developing them, and selling at a premium. If they can strike the right balance, they may yet sustain their European ambitions. But if the churn becomes too great, squad cohesion could suffer, and the club risks sliding back into mid-table obscurity. Beyond club-level impacts, the Premier League itself faces a crucial test. Will the league use this case to enforce stricter controls on transfers, or will it shy away from confrontation with one of its most marketable brands? Expert Gabriele Marcotti believes we could see new rules not only for how release clauses are activated, but also for how clubs and players communicate during negotiations. The power dynamic in English football is shifting, and this saga may be the catalyst for much-needed reforms. Let's not forget the human side of this story. For Morgan Gibbs-White, the next chapter of his career hangs in the balance. Having developed through the ranks at Wolverhampton Wanderers before shining at Nottingham Forest, his journey epitomizes the modern English footballer. Talented, adaptable, and under constant scrutiny. Should he join Tottenham, he will face immense expectations to justify his price tag and drive the club towards silverware. If he remains at Forest, he will be tasked with leading a squad under financial strain, fighting to maintain their hard-won European status. There is also a hidden dimension to this transfer saga, the psychological impact on players and managers caught in the crossfire. For Gibbs-White, the uncertainty of protracted negotiations can be destabilizing, affecting form, confidence, and even relationships within the dressing room. For Thomas Frank and Forest's manager, every public statement, every leaked negotiation detail carries weight. In the pressure cooker environment of the Premier League, these off-field stresses often spill onto the pitch. Let's add a historical perspective. The last time Nottingham Forest sold a player for more than £50 million was back in 2016, 8 years ago, when Oliver Burke departed for the Bundesliga. The magnitude of the Gibbs-White transfer is therefore unprecedented for Forest, underscoring just how far the club has come in recent seasons, and how much is at risk if they misplay their hand. So what does all this mean for football fans and industry observers? First, it is a stark reminder that success in modern football is built not just on talent, but on financial discipline, legal savvy, and strategic vision. Clubs that ignore these realities find themselves paying the price, sometimes literally, with fines or bans, and sometimes in lost opportunities on the pitch. For supporters, understanding the mechanics of financial fair play, release clauses, and the intricate dance of transfer negotiations offers a richer perspective on the headlines dominating the back pages. For those following football as more than just a weekend ritual, here's some practical advice. Pay attention to club financial statements, squad age averages, and the evolving regulatory landscape. For instance, the Premier League's average squad age currently stands at 26.5 years. Both Tottenham and Forest are targeting younger, more versatile players, a reflection of the modern game's demands for speed, adaptability, and long-term value. When you read about sudden transfer bids or legal disputes, remember that every move is calculated, every risk weighed against potential rewards and penalties. As the Gibbs-White saga unfolds, there are lessons for football executives, players, and fans alike. For club owners, it is a lesson in the dangers of overextending financially and the necessity of compliance with ever-tightening league rules. For players, it is a reminder that career decisions are shaped as much by boardroom battles as by personal ambition. For fans, it is an invitation to look beyond the surface and appreciate the complexities, both thrilling and daunting, of the world's most popular sport. As of now, Tottenham have yet to be formally punished. The Premier League's investigation continues, and any proven wrongdoing could still result in hefty fines, a transfer ban, or the unprecedented step of a points deduction. Nottingham Forest, meanwhile, are weighing their options, almost certain to sell Gibbs-White if the right offer arrives, as evidenced by their active pursuit of Jacob Ramsey. For the Premier League, this case is a wake-up call. As expert Gabriele Marcotti argues, we are likely to see new rules not only on release clauses, but on every aspect of club and player communication during transfer windows. The balance of power in English football is shifting, and the outcome of this saga may well shape the rules of engagement for years to come. And for the most loyal fans who follow every twist and turn, here's an extra tidbit. The last time a transfer of this magnitude rocked Nottingham Forest was 8 years ago, when Oliver Burke left for the Bundesliga. Yet, the stakes today are even higher, reflecting not only the soaring value of top English talent, but the escalating arms race among Premier League clubs. So what do you think? Should Tottenham be punished if found guilty? Will Nottingham Forest bounce back if they lose their star player? Can the Premier League successfully balance commercial interests with fairness and sporting integrity? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this in-depth look at the crossroads of money, strategy, and football, don't forget to subscribe for more stories where the beautiful game meets the hard realities of global